Welcome to Home Brewer TV. I'm so glad you could join us today. We've got a lot planned. First of all, I'm going to introduce you to my all-grain brewing bench, Bad Frog Brewery. And then we're going to talk about wort chilling, something that a lot of people struggle with. And of course, I've got 2 more beers to taste, so you stay with us on Home Brewer TV. This is my brewing area and my brew bench. Now I have to admit, the brew bench wasn't originally designed to be this, but I got a little lazy. I wanted to get brewing, so I just quickly threw something together with some scrap woods I had sitting around the shop. I wanted to build this bench as inexpensively as I possibly could. So I went around and acquired a whole lot of things from scrap yards, friends, eBay, and anywhere else that I could find that would help me build it as inexpensively as I could. The system is built around old half kegs. My local home brewer was so kind to find some for me, and at $15 a piece, for $45, I had my hot liquor tank, I had my mash tun, and I also had my brew pot. They've worked really well. And at some point, we'll talk about how I actually had to modify them to use them by cutting holes in the tops and things of that sort. But this is just an introduction to the brew bench. For the mash tun, I put this insulation around it that I got at Home Depot, and it will keep the temperature correct for an hour and a half without dropping more than 2 degrees. And I find that phenomenal. I did add some sight gauges. I felt that was necessary to know what quantities were in it, and also a temperature gauge for the hot liquor tank was really important. Probably the most expensive part of the entire project were the pumps that I added. I found these pumps on eBay and basically spent $40 a piece for them. The 3-tier systems work excellent, but I was too lazy to have to be able to lift kegs up over my head. I wanted something that was convenient and easy. One comment that I often hear is the fact of, don't really want to use wood because we're worried about fire. What I've done is I just added a sheet of metal that is supported above the frame by some square tubing. This allows air movement around, and there has never been a problem with heat on the wood. Now, it's my personal opinion, this really is a crude brew bench. I built it about 100 brews ago, though, so it has become very effective, and my efficiency rate is about 80%. But would I like a nice metal brew bench? Oh, yes. Would I like to have a different pump system, tubing system, piping system, maybe a rims or one of those other systems? Oh, absolutely. And that's where the whole show is going to help make this happen. Because now I have a real excuse to increase the ability of this system and to make it convenient. And I have seen some incredible systems that I just drool over. So as we progress along, we're still going to have a lot of brews we're going to run through this whole system. But as we progress along, we are going to be making changes, and you'll be sharing with those. And any and all suggestions you have for making changes to this system, with any idea that you think would look really nice, I would love to hear from you. So, with all that in mind, I've got a brew to do. Cooling your wort is kind of the topic of this particular discussion. And you can see by things surrounded around me, I've kind of tried different ways. Some have been successful, others have worked but have been a pain, and others are fantastic. When I first started brewing, I remember being told or reading that I had to have my wort cooled as quickly as possible. Don't want to get any of those little microorganisms into my wort. Well, the only way I had to cool it was by putting it in the sink, adding cold water and ice around the brew pot, and that's how I cooled my wort the first couple times. Well, I tell you, that gets old real quick, and it's not that efficient. Then it got worse because I went to a much larger brew pot. I wanted to be able to do full volume boils, and I needed a bigger one, and that's when I converted a half keg into my brew pot. Well, of course, I couldn't take that half keg and put it in the sink with ice and water. It wouldn't fit in the sink, period. I gave some thought to tossing that into a big, gigantic bucket. But then I went down and I purchased the good old immersion cooler. It works just fine. You hook it up to your hose, you run it from your tap water, and it will cool your wort. However, and here's the problem, I've got very chilly tap water. I got 55 degrees almost year round. But with this just sitting in that brew pot, it very slowly cools it. There's not enough movement of hot wort past the coils to be efficient. Well, what else could I do? Well, I started taking it and literally would bounce it up and down into the pot, circle it around a little bit, and it worked a whole lot better, cooled the wort much quicker, and wore me out by the end of the brew. I just didn't like that. Now, I know there's some other ways that are out there. I gave a thought of putting a paint mixer on a drill and working that. Of course, more things to sanitize. So, this worked for me for a long time, didn't like it. So then I thought about a counterflow chiller, but I just wasn't happy with the whole concept of the hose over the outside of the tube, and it just didn't seem to be very pretty. Not that this is good looking, but I came up with this. I don't know if you've heard about it. These are fantastic. A Sharon wort chiller. It's a plate chiller. It has a spot for the wort to go in, the wort to go out, the cool water to go in, and let me tell you, it's hot water coming out. And the speed of this is magnificent. I do a 10-gallon boil. This gets hooked up. When I'm done with my boil, it goes directly from the brew pot, through the pump, through the chiller, and directly into the fermenter. And when it reaches the fermenter, it's about 68 degrees. I run my pump at full volume, so I empty that 10-gallon brew pot in no time. If you're given some thought to wanting to get a really good wort chiller that will cut your time down and do an excellent job, I can't recommend this high enough. I know there's different versions of it, and some are bigger, some are smaller, but they really do work well. Now, one thing that I've been told or read, these will plug up. How do you clean it? Well, they're a piece of cake to clean. When I am done with a brew, all I have to do is run hot water back through the opposite direction. It cleans out the fins, and I have never had a problem with this plugging up. And I've been using it for about 3 years now. Give it a try. I think you will really enjoy how it works for you. Boy, we're gonna set up for tasting more beers today. I didn't see you there. Well, we're back in the tasting room, and as you can tell, one of my favorite parts of this whole show, we got 2 more beers to taste today, so let's get started. Our first one is Fat Tire. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Fat Tire. I know it's one of my favorites that I enjoy. If I don't have enough beer brewed, I gotta go to the store. Fat Tire is gonna be one of my choices. Brewed by the Belgian Brewing Company in Colorado. And you know what I love about this company? This is employee owned. I just love that fact. Well, Here comes our Fat Tire. Now, Fat Tire is known for its beautiful amber color, and it certainly is there. So, and one of the things I really enjoy about Fat Tire is its aroma. It has a lovely malty aroma that just, makes you want to drink it. Okay, into our scoring. We know on a scale of 1 to 12 for our aroma, giving this an 8. I love the aroma. It's a beautiful beer, don't you think? Lovely, lovely beer. So, of course, I'm giving it a 2 and a best of 3. The best part of this entire thing is the tasting. We all know that, so let's get right down to it. I think Fat Tire is just a delicious beer. It is hopped just right so that it isn't overpowering, yet it kills off those really high peaks of sweetness, so the malty biscuit flavor comes through, and this is truly a delicious beer. I know you'll enjoy it. All right, our next one, and I love the, got to finish up the scoring. You can tell how excited I am to get to the next beer. Well, as far as the taste goes, we have a score of up to 20. I'm going to give this a 15. The mouthfeel is excellent. I can feel the carbonation, I can feel the smoothness. I like that feel. So, scale of 1 to 5, we're going to give it a 4. And finally, my overall impression with this beer is I've always enjoyed Fat Tire. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving it an 8. And I want to thank the crew for letting me know I was trying to get way ahead of myself. So what do we got? We got 12, 22, 27, 30, 38 points for Fat Tire. And don't forget, all these scores are listed on the website. So all the beers we've tasted have a score. All right. Back to the one I was so excited about. I love this name. This is a North Coast Brewing Company's production, and it's called Prankster. I mean, gee, what beer drinker really isn't kind of a prankster? So, I just love the whole concept of it, and even the label itself is just fun. So let's get into this. I can see just by pouring it, it's a much lighter looking beer. Has a lovely head. You can see it's lighter, but one thing to notice is it's not as clear as Fat Tire. Fat Tire's probably filtered. This one isn't. I love unfiltered beer. And most of us home brewers, we wouldn't even think about filtering the beer. So, it had a lovely head. Let's see what our aroma's like. Okay, I definitely like the Fat Tire aroma more. I like that smell of the biscuity, malty smell. This is more of a hoppy smell. And quite honestly, I gotta say, it's a little bit snappy hoppy smell. So the aroma's not doing a whole lot for me. And so I'm gonna have to say on a scale of 1 to 12, I'm only gonna give this an aroma of a 3. The appearance, I think, is lovely. As far as the cloudiness is concerned, doesn't bother me a single bit. I can't see through the really dark beers, so who cares? And of course, we all know, what is the rule for appearance? We give it a 2. Now for the taste. Well, bottoms up. Okay. This took me a little bit by surprise. From the aroma, I was expecting this to be a lot hoppier than what I'm tasting. I expected this to be more of a pale ale, IPA maybe type. I was wrong. The clove flavors in this are delightful. And it has a sweetness to it that counters the cloves just wonderfully. So I'm going to say the mixture of cloves, hops, and the sweetness of the barley really complements each other. This truly is delicious, and it has surprised me. Oh, so on our scale of 1 to 20, it's getting a 17. Mouthfeel. I think there's certain things in beer that most of us beer drinkers really don't give a big thought to. One of it is, what does it look like? The other is mouthfeel, unless it is a mouthfeel you don't like. And for the most part, beers just have a great mouthfeel to me. And so does this one. The carbonation is wonderful on the tongue, and as I said, the cloves and the hops are just perfectly balanced. This is a delicious beer. So mouthfeel, on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm giving it a 3. Overall, this really is surprisingly good beer. Like I said, I was expecting it to be a little hoppier, and it wasn't, so this is a wonderful, exciting surprise. I'm keeping this one. The crew can drink this one. I loved this beer, so it's overall, my overall opinion, excuse me, a good beer. Scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving it an 8. So, here's my score. I got looks like 11, 21, 28, 29, 33, 33 points. Delicious beer. Prankster. I should probably give it an extra point just for the name. Well, enjoy the beers and let me know about any others that you might like to recommend that I'm going to enjoy. We'll see you next time here in the tasting room. Thanks for joining me here on Homebrewer TV. I certainly enjoy spending my time with you, and I hope you enjoy the show as much as I enjoy having it available. So, we will see you next time on Homebrewer TV. Let's have a beer.